Hey everyone, Temporal here, and for this session we are reviewing a Zarya player. I believe this is about 3400 on console. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe, as that really does help me out and I appreciate it quite a bit. Or if you are looking to get coaching yourself, you can join my Discord in the description below, see what rates look like, promos, what sort of events we have going on, all that stuff. Yeah, that was probably too many people set up out there, but you all wanted your old charge. Mm-hmm. Let's go here for starters. Set up our our rewind's still set correctly. Good. So let's do our rewind. Here you are.
Ready for battle.
That's what I thought. You were late on that. Getting a little unnecessary damage there. This Rhine is swinging. This Rhine can have a bubble because this Rhine is swinging. This Rhine is still very much in swing range and the other Rhine's bubble is gone, so he wants to be swinging. And now, see how you've now bubbled him now that there's a gap? Like, that's a distance. That's a good 2 steps that your Reinhardt needs to take now. And if he realizes that this bubble is on him, he'll hopefully take those steps immediately. But if the other Reinhardt realizes that bubble is on him, the Reinhardt will start to step back. And while he'll get forward faster than the other Reinhardt will get back, like, this will be some wasted bubble time. If your Ryan gets 1 swing out of this, he'll be lucky, when usually your Ryans can try to get 2 swings out of the bubble if they're really on it. So this is bad. You were late on your bubble. Temporal in the original white in the original red and white scarf. Yes, that is true. It's not a full-time 1 scarf for the other thing. Sometimes I queue up for coaching sessions with different skins equipped. Okay, so let's be serious for a second. Oh, I'm on the wrong Zarya. That's what happened. I'm like, wait, what?
Ready for battle. Defend objective A. Ready for
We didn't really have to surrender this. Here you are. You hit this bubble. Yeah, we're getting there, Blah. We're getting there. It's been nice. Morning, Game Buster. So here you are. You have 49. Good. Okay. So I see it. I know that Reinhardt looks super juicy and you want the Reinhardt elimination, but think about it this way. So you've got the cross angles and that's good, but you don't have quite enough cross angle to get behind this Rhine shield, right? This Rhine shield is effectively working and it is, well, maybe it's not blocking this. Maybe this person will be able to do this. Maybe you'll get credit for, hey, your Echo does the job. But mostly, I'm not super worried about you focusing this Rhine unless this Rhine turns his shield harder. I'm much more interested in, can we finish off this Lucio? Can we finish off or pressure out this Zarya? Because we're in a situation where this Rhine Shield is basically full health. I don't want to have to get through 1,000+ health on a Rhine Shield when this Lucio will go down to 100 damage. This Zarya will probably leave from 100 damage, but will go down to 200, 250 damage. So, like, we don't want to, even though that Reinhardt looks like, oh, they've only got 90 health left, it'd be great, let's just take them down. They've only got 90 health left if your Reinhardt is swinging onto them. But that's not an option anymore because your Reinhardt is eliminated. They've only got 90 health if you can get around their shield. But you getting around their shield is going to take time and effort. And you don't have the health or the cooldowns to allow you to go do that. So instead, I want you to shoot at these other guys, which is going to either cause them to go hide behind their Reinhardt shield or leave a bit or use their personal cooldowns, and then, like you, they'll be less able to go take flanks to go do work. So that's what I want right now. I don't want you to try to break this full health shield when there's other targets available. Okay? Cool. Even though that Reinhardt looks nice and juicy. Okay. You didn't need that reload.
Barrier activated.
And you knew it was likely the Genji would be there. Good.
Do you even live?
You doing it? You gonna hop up there? Why are you here? Like, you'd clearly won the fight, you had them on the back foot, it was totally fine for you to hop your way up here and see what sort of work you could do. You knew that you'd have your Echo up here doing work, you knew that your Reinhardt was going to go over here and will probably threaten. Like, you were totally good to hop up here and see what you could see. They're not going to finish you, you're fine.
I need help.
You don't need to teabag your teammate. That's just silly. See, now they're damage boosting Echo. They might have been damage boosting you instead. I'm kidding, obviously, but they weren't going to damage boost you with 0 energy.
Get in there. Just a scratch. Bring it.
It's fine. So again, you're bubbling your Rhine as he's backing away. That's at least the second time we've seen that. Okay, so I don't mind that melt, but you've immediately got to recognize after that melt that your target to pivot to was this Widow. I don't mind that you melted the target that was laying out on the ground, but immediately as soon as that melt was over, your shot needed to not be over here, needed to be, oh, let me put any damage pressure on the Widow until you could get behind cover. Any. Why do you think you can do this? You have your Reinhardt, I'm with you. You don't have your Reinhardt anymore. The Widow's closed the angle at least. I don't know that that Widow's not reopening this angle. Okay.
Give me your best shot.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go back.
It was not automatic that you were going to get energy out of that. I don't particularly like this bubble either, because you were pretty far forward. You were already here, and you personal bubbled, and then you backed up and bubbled your Reinhardt, like demanding that he goes further than you were if he's going to get any value. So they backed up from you when you were here and bubbled, and then your Reinhardt pushes up to about where you were because he wanted to cover you because he knew your bubble was wearing out and he was happy to swing through. And now you're bubbling him, and the stuff had already backed up from you. So you know if your Reinhardt is going to get value out of this, he has to go deeper still. I don't want your Reinhardt to go deeper still. Why? Why would I have your Reinhardt go deeper still? Let's not do that.
Barrier on.
That's fine. What was that melee? What? That was silly. Okay. You don't need to reload every right click here. Your reloads are a little aggressive. I haven't commented on them yet, but yeah, your reloads are a little aggressive. No, you do not need to reload after every right click. You're perfectly happy to check multiple of them out there. Your reload takes a meaningful amount of time. It's not the slowest reload in the world. You're not Ashe, but your reload does take a meaningful amount of time, and it is part of Zarya's kit to get a meaningful number of right clicks. Like, I don't care if you're throwing right clicks and you're missing 4 out of 5 of them. Keep throwing those right clicks when they're in right click range. If you're missing more than 4 out of 5 of them, we've got some work to do. But I don't care if you're missing 4 out of 5 of them. I still want you throwing those right clicks rather than going conserve ammo or throw right click, reload. Throw right click, reload. Throw right click, reload. Like, I don't care. Even if you're missing most of them, I still want you to actually throw your way with right clicks down to 0 ammo, 25 ammo before you're hitting those reloads, unless there's a reason for you to go behind cover. And there's not here. There's plenty more right. There are plenty more right clicks you could be throwing instead of reloading. There are plenty of targets on your screen. You could adjust and throw this right click right now deep where that fire strike is and try to get damage, for example. Why? Why are we? Ugh. This is 8 ammo. We could break a turret with this. We could throw a right click at that Lucio. Right clicks or reloads.
Barrier activated.
Did you just personal bubble and then back up? That's your teammate taking damage.
Barrier
He's trying,
activated.
and now you're personal bubbling while he's taking. No, we don't want to personal bubble this. You. Yeah, you backed up so that the same thing while you were personal bubbled swapped onto your Reinhardt buddy. No! Why would you do this? These reloads, they were never great, but they got so much worse in the last 30 seconds. You've known that that turret was there the whole time. There's very little reason you couldn't have melted that with literally an instant of left clicking before you threatened the Widow. Literally an instant. I know you're on a controller, so your flicks aren't as clean as you'd get on a mouse, but that was not going to be hard to break. That's their diva. You're on Zarya. That's their diva. Why are you still here? Go melt that diva. She's deciding to donate another mech to your team. That mech should already be at 20% life. Okay, you can still get shot here. There you go. Hey, we spent down to 0.
Hit me.
Are you going to check any to the right for the Widow? Or are you just going to assume that, hey, she went there 3 seconds ago, she no longer exists? Which is it going to be?
Covered.
Better bubble. Okay, you're about to get a grab window.
Best shot.
Basically now gone. Yeah, so you can't still have this grab. You have grab going into this fight, and if this fight takes any time at all to start, it's last fight. You have to be looking aggressively for windows to use your grab, and preferably early in the fight. Could do it right here. Not even kidding. It's not perfect, but your Reinhardt is there. You won't have a projected bubble for him because he already used the projected bubble, but he already got pretty good value out of the projected bubble. And the Widow did just toggle off her Matrix, so you could have gotten off a grab here, would have been perfectly acceptable. Would it have mostly been tanks? Yeah, it would have been mostly tanks. Might you have gotten one or both of the other two? It's possible. They would have had to mess up, but it's possible. But this would have been a fine time to grab. Matrix literally just toggled off again. That's a less good bubble, but he's going to get some value out of it for you. Okay, and you need to angle to the right. You need to angle to the right. Like, this is obviously you need to angle to the right. This thing is annoying. You don't want to be over here where the entire team is shooting in on your angle. You want to be over here where you have the better angle, the better protection against their team. It's going to let you live longer, and you being safer, you being able to live longer means more opportunities to find this grab while you're at 100 energy. I also don't love this because I am going to want you to be able to... I want you to get a grab in the next 2 to 3 seconds, and I would like your Rhine to be able to swing into that, which bubble helps with. But heck. Please go right. Please drift right. Please drift right. No. Yeah, there were grabs there if you wanted it. You just had to, A, want it, you had to be more conscious that this was last fight if you did it right. Unfortunate.
On my way.
Hey, Potato. You do. I'm disappointed that you didn't see the grab there, that you didn't set that up better, that you didn't go to the right recover. I'm disappointed with your reloads, and I'm disappointed with your projected bubble timings on Ryan. You tend to be slow on them, which means he tends to already be backing out, and then he struggles. Like, he'll get some value, he'll go back in and swing, but you're, like, getting them after he's done his little swing shenanigans and starting to back out, and then you bubble him, and he goes, oh, I guess I'll go back in and swing. And you really want to get tighter on those timings. Reinhardt's are pretty predictable. It's not that hard. You can do it. I believe you. Your Mercy's still alive. I know the point is scary, but your Mercy's still alive. Please finish this Genji. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was gonna happen. Yikes.
Heroes never die.
Score 0.
Obviously, you got snowballed here. You didn't have to get snowballed here. I suppose I can go back and critique this better. So here we are. You're going here. You're looking for this. You have no energy. You are not setting up terribly aggressively. You know that this was always an option for them, this teleporter play, because you see the Symmetra. Yeah, it is console. Okay, so that happened. We had the ability option to save with a bubble. Didn't happen. Now we're up against this Genji. Okay, we're melting with 0 energy, but that's fine. Sometimes that's what you've got to do. Okay. Our Mercy's in trouble. We might not get a ton of energy out of bubbling our Mercy here. That doesn't mean we can choose not to do it. We still have to bubble our Mercy once she gets to the threat range. Not to 50, where he's definitely going to dash, but a bit before she gets to 50. So that he's actually stuck in that shoot. You're going to get full bubble duration value. Not of energy necessarily, though hopefully you'll get some of that. But of your Mercy is going to live for another 2 seconds. Like, that is sometimes what you're looking for. Just make sure you time it when he wants to be using his abilities. Easy to get this elimination on Genji. Also easy to get this elimination on Genji if you don't turn away over here. And I know it's scary. It's like, oh, hey, the point's half gone. You just need to win the fight. You're not worried about whether they get 1 tick, 2 tick, 99%. You just need to win the fight before they cap. And your only chance to win the fight, like letting your Mercy go down here in exchange for, oh, I want to be able to make sure we go to the point. No, the Genji already took down your Ashe. You are too far behind in this fight. You can't afford to turn and deal with this. And you're probably thinking, oh, there's a shatter. That went off. I want to be able to follow up on that. No. It's more important that your team lives than that the opposing team goes down. And you know that. You're playing 2 CP defense. Your bubble goes on the wrong target there. And you're thinking, oh, I better throw this grab to protect me from this, but you know the D.Va's right to your right. Yeah.
Round 1. Score 0-2.
Together.
Okay, let's get a little bit more of a skip here.
I can't even take you seriously.
A little bit more.
Ready for battle. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming.
Fully here.
Defend objective A.
Okay. I don't love this.
Defend objective A.
I'm going to be okay with it because you probably expected that you would get another Hanzo arrow or an Ana shot as well as the Fire Strike. You actually could have if you'd been a little better there. Fire Strike for just Bubble for just Fire Strike tends to not be worth because even before the Zarya changes, and Zarya now retains less energy, her energy drains off faster, but even before that happened, you would lose like 16 energy, I want to say, between bubbles. Like if you were getting 16 energy from a bubble, by the time you got your bubble cooldown back, you would have 0 energy again. It was something in that ballpark. Might have been 14, might have been 12. Now it's even worse, so your energy drains faster. So again, 20 from a bubble, you're not making any progress there. You need to be getting a little bit more than that, but it's reasonable that you expected that you'd also take a Hanzo shot or an Ana shot there, so I'm going to forgive it.
Don't hold back.
Okay, find bubble. Oh boy. Why? Why are you reloading? You can throw a right click at that Hanzo. Why are you just waiting? You have a lamp up. What are you doing? What are you doing? You're just leaving your Reinhardt out there to dry? Like, your Reinhardt is going to get eliminated. That's not a question. We know your Reinhardt is going to get eliminated. But can you trade a couple people back and take advantage of their more distant spawns? That's the real question. And your lamp is up right now. So you can just stand out there. You have 100 ammo, you have 45 energy, your bubble comes back in 1 second, you have a lamp going. You should absolutely open this angle. Oh, look, your Reinhardt took someone down. However, now, you're coming out here now and you're bubbling at full health. This Hanzo could be seriously pressured. This Hanzo could be in danger of getting eliminated now. Unfortunately, now he's at full health behind cover and his team is coming back because the Reinhardts have been traded out. Like, you could have done this while the Reinhardts were being traded out, while those other people were still distracted. What are you doing? This is over. What are you doing? This is not a thing. This is not a thing. Yeah, you don't have a bubble, yours or a teammate's, that you can tell to go soak this. Rotation was never a thing. Not without your Reinhardt. Not with how things have traded. I hope you told your team you dropped here. No. Okay. Go to point. Go to point. That's where your team can support.
Everyone on the objective.
Okay.
Barriers on you.
It's fine. It was a bubble and cleanup phase.
Objective A captured. New defense point. Objective B.
Better.
That's all we've got.
Too slow. Too slow on your rotation. It's a big swing out. You should be eliminated right now. You should be in spawn room. This is a big swing out. Yes, you needed to avoid the dragon, but your Reinhardt shield and your Reinhardt are still right over here. And honestly, this dragon was probably the end of the push, and you just accept that. You lost your primary source of healing. You just go, oh, this was annoying. Let's drop down here. And then we'll go back, loop our BAP, come back in. We got our Dragon Strike out of them. They didn't get any ult charge off of it. That's fine. That is a long distance to transition without your bubble.
Best shot. scratch.
Please don't bait your team. Okay, now you can push for real. I'm only okay with this because he was purple and so low.
Steam. I claim this objective. Stand with me.
Step right up.
Good. No, you don't want to chase him here. So for payload, you're going to find I'm very meh on having a second and third person on the payload because it's 100% speed, then 133, then 166% base speed. It matters more on capping control points like this and on flipping cost points. But also, as soon as you hopped off someone contested, which means there's a more available target to you somewhere.
Barrier activated.
You know where that is. You can push back. Okay. This pushes over. Are you just going to quietly leave through bottom? Good. Little slow. Not convinced you'll get out anymore, but you do have bubble. Bubble.
Best shot.
You don't look away to get out. Yes, you move slightly faster by looking in this direction as opposed to looking in this direction and backing out, but the amount you can keep opponents honest and make them think about evasive movement and threaten damage on them by looking in this direction as you're backing out when there's enemies in this direction makes it worth it in most cases. Zarya isn't a tank who has a massively bigger head hitbox in front of her compared to behind her, so it's generally worth it to go, no, I'm going to zap you. I'm going to keep you honest with right clicks, left clicks, etc. as I try to get back to here, rather than let me just look away and hope you don't exist because I look away. If I look away, you won't be a problem. Nope, doesn't work, Zarya. Doesn't work. Better to keep them honest and scared by your weapon play than it is to look away.
I am still in the fight. Bring it.
Hung kind of deep, but okay. Good. Are we going to look to the right for that Reaper at all, or are we just assuming that this is the guy? Yep, we're assuming this is the guy. Does that only apply for Zarya? It depends on the tank. D.Va, for example, if you don't have any defense matrix, has a massive head hitbox on her front and no head hitbox on her back. Winston's head hitbox is much bigger in front of him than behind him, and his range is very limited. So those are heroes where D.Va, if she was out of matrix, or Winston, if he... if the opponents were out of range, might turn around and walk away. Yes, Hog can do similar things, especially during Take a Breather, because, different sized front versus back head hitboxes. Reinhardt wouldn't really do the same thing unless his shield was broken. Or he was charging out. Okay. Again, not the greatest bubble. If you just look at this. Yeah, there's a Reinhardt that he can swing at. I get it. Yeah, I'll be okay with it. That was more on him. You personal bubbled after the wall was up, though. I'll forgive the projected, not the personal. Hey, we are very much a fan of people bravely running away. Well, maybe not very much a fan, but bravely running away has its place. Oh, so bravely running away. Okay. You going here for energy? Oh, but it's baiting your team into going here.
Best shot.
What is this?
Give me your best shot.
What? Yes, you're at less than half health, so I understand you feel like, oh, I've taken damage pressure, but do you expect enemies to continue shooting at you? They look to me like they're shooting at your Reinhardt, and that team actually looks kind of close range to me. Reinhardt, Diva's damage isn't meaningful at this distance unless it's micromissile, and you can clearly see if micromissile is aimed at you. Reaper's close range, Brig is close range, Anna and Hanzo. And you'll see the nade coming. Hanzo's the only one who's really going to hurt you at this range. I don't want you wasting bubble on this. You're at 0 energy, 180 life.
Get in there.
You're still at 0 energy. And what do you know? You're getting heals. And then that isn't better either. You're not coordinating well around these Mei walls. And I'm sure she's not calling them. I'm not sure. I expect she's not calling them. But you are putting these bubbles on both yourself and your Rhine after these Mei walls go up, and these are defensive Mei walls. So of course you're not going to get energy. Like this is no. No.
Get in there. That tickles.
Ooh. It never happened, so I don't remember. That never happens, Tom Joe, because divas turn away. But I don't think so. I think it's like 22-32 range, but that's probably wrong. Yeah, it just doesn't happen. And if it does happen, it's not just micro missiles that you're taking. It's, hey, you are getting micro missiled and she's shooting at you and other people are shooting at you. So it's like, we could go test it to figure out exactly how much energy it is. But I don't remember.
Огонь по готовности. Огонь по готовности. Get in there.
You have no bubbles left. You've spent your lamp.
That tickles.
They softened you guys up pretty hard on the way in, but you've got your lamp going. You've lost your BAP. They just hit a shatter of some sort.
Огонь по готовности.
I know you didn't know your McCree was eliminated when you hit this grab, but you knew you weren't in this fight. You knew that. We don't need to do this. We have another push attempt. Yeah. No good. No good. Well, it's not an unlucky 0 energy grab. It's a, hey, we chose to have 0 energy because we used a bubble behind a Mei wall and we used a bubble when we didn't see damage coming at us. And then we chose to grab after they'd used a shatter, after we were down 1, after our lamp had been used. Too late into the fight, effectively. Okay, that got yoinked by McCree. Make up your mind. Are you going, hey, I'm going to soak the energy from this self-destruct? Or are you going, I'm going to drop and melt this baby diva?
Bring it.
You can throw right clicks or even left click at the baby diva from the bridge and still get value. But you can't drop and bubble. You can't do that. If you use this personal bubble, you have to get the 40 energy from the self-destruct, or it has to protect you from something else. This doesn't work. Oh, it did protect you from the self-destruct. I didn't think it would here. Okay, good. I didn't think her angle was such that that would happen. Good for you. Do you just not like McCree? McCree wasn't worth a bubble? Okay. You had it. And I get that, Potato, but you're popping some of those bubbles after the wall is already up. And I know you've probably mentally decided I'm looking for a bubble here, but it's not the instant the wall goes up, your bubble goes out thing. Some of these are like half a second, 3/4 of a second after the wall's gone up, you bubble your Rhine or you use your personal bubble type things that we've seen with this May wall. So I would like them to call it, but even if they don't, you've got to be able to get the inputs. You've got to be able to go like, hey, I'm bubbling. I'm not bubbling just because I've said to myself I would like to bubble now. I'm bubbling because I see the inputs that tell me that I want to bubble my Reinhardt. And those inputs are my Rhine is close enough to the other Rhine to be swinging, or he's already swinging. Or my inputs are I am taking damage and expect to continue to take damage, or I see projectiles coming at me in the air that I'm sure I can absorb with my bubble. Uh, Mateo, what it is on payload, what happens is your cart speed is one person gets you 100% speed on a payload. This is payload. Two people gets you 133% speed. So that second person is only increasing your base speed by 33%, and three people is getting you 166% speed. So again, that third person is only getting you another 33% base speed as well. So what that tends to mean is, well, for a moment after you team wipe, for example, you might want to, for a second or two, get three people on the cart. After that, it's usually better to drop to one and take positional space advantage to push ahead of the cart and create space that your team controls ahead of the cart that they have to push back into, because this and this isn't worth that much compared to setting up for the defensive fight, so that they have to push through your defensive positional good forward hold with high ground with angles, because if they don't, the cart gets to move for free all the way from where you won the last team fight to where you've set up your defensive hold. So on payload, usually you just go for like 1 to 2 seconds of this. You go for 1 to 2 seconds of this. Come on, mouse. After a one team fight, and then this becomes your rest of the time. It's different on Koth and Capture Point. When you're having to fill one of these bars like this, it's a different speed increase, and it becomes more worth it. And there's also less good space, especially on 2CP, to set up ahead of the point for chokes, for high grounds that they'll have to push through. So getting your three people on it is much more important. And keeping them there to speed up the cap is more important. Not so important that if you're down to only three people, like say you eliminated the entire team and there's only three of you attackers left, it's not so important that you're going to drop an Ana or a soldier off of this dominant high ground to get the third person capping it in most situations. But it is important enough that you're not going to go, we only have three people, they're all on point right now, let's push one up to here and one up to here. Hope that makes sense. Nice, Mystery! Congratulations on Masters! I believe so, Tom Joe.
Step right.
Fire's on you. Go.
The Reinhardt is not. I know he's only got 45, 50 health right now, but that shield still has 1,000 health on it. Turn around and melt the Brig, or shoot at the Ana down there. Those are both better than trying to melt this 1,000+ health barrier. Your Reinhardt's allowed to swing into it. That's fine. You go, hey, there's another target available. I want it. You do not need to keep your beam on this Reinhardt to stop him from swinging. I promise he's not going to swing until he gets healed more, and you can stop him from getting healed more by putting any damage pressure on this Ana over here, or by fighting the brig behind you that is scary. No problem, Mateo. Glad you're enjoying them.
I am taking the objective.
Oh, let's break it. Damn!
30 seconds
Perseverance
remaining.
is the key.
Let them up.
Are you going to get another grab in time? No. Maybe? Wasn't the greatest damage prioritization.
10 seconds remaining.
Bring it.
I'm not really sure what that bubble was for.
Barrier is on
You're thinking maybe help them enforce? I'm really not sure what that bubble was for. That was like you desperately praying for energy. That's not the right way to use a bubble.
you. Don't hold back.
I'm talking about the projected bubble. The personal I understand. You get this. I see the brig, and I don't mind if you burn the brig for a moment here. But now you gotta swap to the Reaper. You have to swap to the Reaper. Brig is annoying, I get it. She's lower health than the Reaper right now, so she feels like the right target. She's honestly not the right target. She doesn't have rally going anymore. She's not that dominant, terrifying thing. Your Lucio and Mei are both pretty durable heroes, relatively speaking, but this Reaper can take you or Lucio down like that. You need to put pressure on him to force that Wraith out. Otherwise, he is going to eliminate somebody. Reaper. Reaper. Okay, now you're shooting at Reaper, and he is beyond in his optimal range. Like, you let him get way too close, where he gets way too much damage. You needed to be engaging him as soon as he was at your maximum beam distance to try to keep him out. Yes, I know he's Sniper Reaper now, but, like, you still needed to be playing with your beam range there to get value out of this, to make sure you had good damage on him, to threaten him, to force him to Wraith before he's able to get in your face like this. Now you just lose. Even if you had your bubble, you just lose at this range.
Give me another shot.
Is it hot in here or is it just... The voice is mine. Enjoy me.
Get in there.
What is that bubble? Oh, hey! You might need your bubble now to actually save someone from this Doomfist. Good thing you didn't. Those are some bad entry bubbles from you. Just praying to get energy so you can be useful. I promise, if you're patient and you look, you will find things that will get you energy more reliably, quite quickly.
Ready for battle.
Well. Down.
Ready for battle. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
Keep an eye on your head. And if you need it.
Ready for battle.
Thank you, Blah.
I'm just
There's
getting warmed up.
our elimination order for overtime stalls or for stalling when you're at last point video that, yes, Blah is referencing. Let's just rewind here. Here we are.
Ready for battle.
Fine.
Just a scratch.
Got 25 energy out of it. They hit their little teleport.
I'm just getting warmed up.
Your Rhine can swing here. Your Rhine now can't really swing. In a moment, he'll be able to swing, and instead you bubbled your Mercy. That's unfortunate. She's not going to get value out of that. And she was full health.
This is not your time.
Yes. Yes. There's a reason, guys. Like I would love to cover more topics on Zarya, but the three topics that I end up covering the most on Zarya when reviewing people's plays are team bubbles, specifically Reinhardt, personal bubbles, and reloads. I would love to be covering more things. I would love to be covering more high ground use, more grab stuff. I'd love to be covering how to use bubbles to like separate transcendences to get grab eliminations. I would love to be talking more about, hey, the off angles and targeting the off angle person to make them go back. But unfortunately, everyone gets stuck on these not doing it well enough, and that causes us to have to stay here because there's so much room to continually improve on these, and they make such a big difference. This is sort of a you get it or you don't thing. We can usually go, okay, you fixed it or you haven't, though it can be a little hard to fix. But there is a lot of distance between even, GM Tank playing their off-roll Zarya and actual good actually good Zarya players effectively. Like there's a lot of distance between people who are kind of good at Zarya, main Zarya, etc., and actually understand actually getting good value. Like you can improve on these for so long. Okay. Okay. Okay, Tom Joe. Uh yeah, it's sort of 80% of Zarya. Like again, there's more things we can cover. I listed a few of them, but better. 5 ammo reload.
I'm even stronger.
That's in the high ground.
Funny bluff. No, he means the professional player space. Okay. She has 4 abilities, M1, M2, M3, M4. Her M1, M2, self bubble, and team bubble. So how do I get value from her would be more of 3 and 4. Yeah, mostly.
Barriers on you. Go. Just a scratch.
She does have a powerful enough bubble, a powerful enough ultimate to be like, hey, ultimate is number 5, and we really do want to cover it, and we would. But again, so many people are still in M3 or self bubble, team bubble territory.
Give me your best shot.
And by in that territory, I mean it's not good enough. Yeah. But yes, because 3 and 4 feed 1 and 2, it becomes very much about them,
The battle continues.
as well as feeding 5. So Ryan going in, you're bubbling your Ryan as he's hopping out here. And he's having to go back in to try to get value, and the max he can possibly get out of that, because you're bubbling him as he's backing out, is 1 swing. And if the other Ryan was backing out at the same time because he was done with his bubble swing, your Ryan wouldn't necessarily even be able to get that 1. Now your Ryan is going for a second swing because he can, but if there was like a Zen on the other team or an Anna on the other team, he just couldn't necessarily go for that second swing because he'd be worried about that discord, that purple, things that usually you're protecting him for and enabling him to get that second swing from.
Heroes never die.
Horns and Crusaders!
Correct, stealing.
Battle.
It's almost over.
Your best shot.
Your early personal bubble. Close line of sight. Close line of sight. Okay. So, we've really covered your three things. Your biggest thing, I'm going to say your biggest thing to improve on is going to be your team bubbles, specifically your Reinhardt team bubbles. I don't want those to happen when you have a defensive Maywall up blocking all of the opponents, obviously. But more importantly, I want you to be faster with those. I want you to get that as your Reinhardt is going in or doing his first swing. You're too often hitting them as your Reinhardt is backing out. And then he'll go in for another swing, but this Reinhardt will. They won't all do that, and he can get more value than that. So as he's going in for his first swing, and you should be able to tell when that's happening pretty consistently, it's pretty obvious, I want you to be getting that bubble on him. It's really important for making sure that not only you get your energy, but that your team gets maximum value out of your bubble in terms of getting the opportunity for your Reinhardt to swing, say, twice without getting a bunch of damage on himself, without getting discorded in exchange for those swings, without getting naded, slept, shot a bunch by BAP in exchange for those swings. Like, it's important. Okay. The next thing that I'm going to say is I want you to think more about your reloads. You had a minute or two there that was really bad. It wasn't as bad for the rest, but you had a minute or two that was really bad, and those do hold you back. Those reloads where you're doing one right click reload, one right click reload, one right click reload. If there's no target, so be it. But if you have a decent idea of where targets are going to show up, you can throw more right clicks than that. If there are targets, you definitely want to throw right clicks than that. And you were also hitting it not just after right clicks, like you do some beam, do a right click, and hit a reload for a bit there. So recognize that in your gameplay. You're going to probably want to be actively thinking about that. Do some self VOD review to see if it's still there, because that's the type of thing that can linger and be like, oh, this isn't a problem. And then you discover, like we saw here, you have a minute or two of that being really bad. So keep an eye on that. Do some self VOD review to check out if that goes away or not. And then the third thing that I want you to work on is going to be your self bubbles. Remember, your self bubbles are when you have taken damage and expect to take more, so not when a Maywall goes up, or when you actively see the projectiles coming in at you, and Fire Strike by itself isn't going to be enough to justify it. Okay, work on those one at a time. Go in order would be my preference, but work on those one at a time. Spend like 5 to 15% of your brain power while playing to be focused on working on that one thing, while the other 85% is dedicated to playing. And then once you think you've made improvements and those improvements are going to stick, you move on to the second thing. If when you move on to the second thing, you see after 2, 3, 4, 5 games, the first thing starts to get worse, by more than like 5 to 10%, go back to the first thing and keep working on it. And then once you feel like it's stable again, then you can try the second thing again. And if it doesn't get worse this time, great, you get to keep working on the second thing. But that's the improvement ladder that you want to do to keep getting better at Overwatch. So please do that. Again, I recommend in order, get your projected bubble timings better on your Reinhardt. They are when he is going into swing or during his first swing, not when he is backing out or to encourage him to go in. The reloads, which we talked about, and then the personal bubbles are, hey, I see the damage incoming, or I've taken damage and expect to take more. Not I took damage, but I'm perfectly safe, but I'm scared because I have 180 HP, so I'm going to bubble. No, that's not what we do. Okay. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe, as that really does help me out quite a bit. Or if you are looking to get coaching yourself, you can join my Discord in the description below, see what rates look like, see what sort of promos, events we have going on, all that good stuff. And I don't know if I'm going to do another VOD after this. It's kind of going to depend what I see in the library, because I do have other work that I could be doing instead. Let me balance. If I'm not live in 5 minutes, I'm probably not going to go live again until later this afternoon. Thanks, guys. Temporal out.